It's time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielsen, Matt Cassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Two Guys and a Goalie. I was last-minute scramble there because I'm trying to get the picture of this poutine hot dog that the Blue Jays are throwing up. I want to throw it up today, so I was trying to save that. I want to input it so we can discuss. Nielsen, Cass, and Gager back with you once again on the Nielsen Media Coolbet Network, brought to you by our great partners over at Coolbet. If you're not yet signed up for an account, Two Guys is where you can do that. Is the bonus code at coolbet.com. Enter the code 2Guys, and you get 100% deposit bonus on an initial deposit up to $200. If you want to bet on the Oilers and Coyotes tonight, you can do that over there. Boys, how was the weekend? Anything of significance? Anybody watch Mandalore? Anything happening on the weekend?
Yeah, I caught up on Mandalorian. I had to finish it. Yep. So all caught up on that one.
It's a good episode. I liked it.
It was a solid episode. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. Gage, are you still behind?
No.
Okay,
You guys always talk about what great parents you are and doing stuff with your kids and things, but you don't know the gratification that I had on a Sunday night. So my son and I, girls are away. It's a total boys weekend. He gets home from work. We're hanging out. Hey, you want to catch up on Mando? So we hit the couch, both of us, crush the Mandalorian, and then we go, yeah, let's go see John Wick. Oh yeah, sure.
Oh,
so full father-son John Wick movie together and chuckling at the gratuitous violence for 2.5 hours.
How insane was John Wick 4?
Did you go watch it too, Dusty?
Oh, I went on Saturday by myself. I told Tam, so Friday I said to Tam, I said, hey, John Wick came out today. And she goes, yeah. And I said, and I'm going tomorrow afternoon. I don't care. So yeah, I went by myself Saturday afternoon and it was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah.
Gager, Cass, are you a John Wick guy? Have you watched the other three?
You know what? I actually talked with my wife about this. I had never watched them, and
wow.
I know, which is because it's totally the type of movie that I'd be absolutely into. But it was one of those ones where we were like, okay, we'll probably watch that one together, like just kind of action movie, more my style. And so we started watching the first one. Mandy fell asleep, which is also pretty typical.
She fell asleep during John Wick.
She falls asleep.
There's no
every time.
downtime.
She told me yesterday because I'm finishing up the last season of Drive to Survive, like as I just kind of boy whenever.
Yeah.
But she asked me last night. She's like, "Hey, can you put that She called it that F21 show on. She's like, "Can you put that F21 show on?" Because it puts her to sleep. She's like, "I fall asleep." I'm like, "How do you fall asleep with all the engines and everything?" She's like, "I don't know. It just puts me to sleep." So John Wick did that for her, and we just never have gone back to it. So I know the premise of the show, so I've watched about half of the first one, and I really enjoyed it, but I just have never jumped back into them.
Gager, is this your favorite one?
Yeah, my son and I were talking about it. It's we were driving home. I go, God, is there a bad one? Like we were kind of go, which one's the best? And we were kind of leaning towards 3. I thought 3 was kind of cool, just the whole background of everything. This one's really good though. I can't, and it's tough for me. I think now that I've had a few hours to kind of decompress, I think this one is my favorite one.
I think this one's my favorite one too, buddy. Yeah,
it's crazy how I don't think there's ever been a 4 movie thing besides maybe Harry Potter that was good. And I mean, even one of those Harry Potters, it wasn't great. This, for 4 movies, they were all awesome. Every single one of them. Like, I don't think that's ever been done.
Like the action's gratuitous. Like there's so much of it. There's like fight scenes that go on for 35 minutes. Like it's amazing. But it was just shot like beautifully. Like some of the shots are amazing. Yeah. Cass, when you see it, you have to watch, even if you just watch the one scene, Gager, when they're looking above, like from above, and he's going through the walls in the house, and he's got that like cannon gun. It was just, I was just like, oh my God, like this is amazing. It was nuts. Yeah,
we
absolutely.
yeah
amazing.
we were going nuts with that one with the special ammunition. Oh, it's
Yeah.
such a great show.
John Wick
Yeah,
4
like,
is
why can't we
McDavid finishing
go?
with 170 points this season. Like that's
Yeah.
what that is. It was that good. It was absolutely amazing. I absolutely loved it. All right, so before we dive into the Oilers and Coyotes tonight and what happened on the weekend, and Gager's going to give us his top 8 goaltenders on the playoff teams in the West. I did tell you I was trying to get that hot dog picture. I got it, so let's just bring it up here quickly. So there it is. That'll be sold at Blue Jays games this year for $9.99. It's a poutine hot dog, and it looks like it's got little chunks of potatoes, like fries cut up almost, and then the cheese and the gravy. Look, you guys know my lifestyle eating wise. This looks delicious to me. Like, I definitely want to give this thing a go. But where do you guys come out on it?
I'd try it at least once. You got to
Yeah.
see, right? I mean, you have to see. You got to see. You don't know how it all comes together yet. The premise is great. It looks delicious, but who knows an actual execution until you can really try it. So I'm all on board for giving it at least one shot. You got to try it at least once.
Yeah, that's once for sure. For sure. It's kind of a twist. I think I'm traditional with hot dogs at the ballpark. Like I just want the regular hot dog, not the specialty ones. But no, I'd be willing to try for sure.
I'm a little worried about the bun right now, to be honest with you. Like, the bun here cannot try to be the star of the show when you got that much else going on. So, and I also don't think, like, at Rogers Place, this thing's $14.99, 100%. $9.99, It's not bad for a hot dog with that much stuff on it at ball games. So, yeah. Oh, that makes me
better not
hungry.
be actual
Sorry, Cass,
size,
you were
though.
already hungry too, right? And now I feel and throw that hot dog up on it.
I know. I had but that's what. I'll make it through. I'll be okay. Maybe that's why I want it, is because it looks so delicious and I'm actually hungry. Maybe if I wasn't hungry, I'd be like, I don't know. It seems a little sketch.
Was that actual size, Dusty? Or was that?
I don't know if it was actual size. It's the size of 3 of our heads. It's going to be amazing.
Not
Yeah. All right, let's get into the Oilers. Not a bad game, I didn't think, against. Like, that was a pretty evenly matched hockey game against the Golden Knights. The Golden Knights end up getting it done in the end, and they get the 2 points, gives them a 7-point cushion. Tracking down them top spot now seems highly unlikely. But, Cass, what was the big takeaway for you from Saturday night?
They still have a proclivity. Actually, maybe this will be the takeaway. When playoffs time hit, I think the ability of the Oilers to win a series is going to be based on their ability to limit those big mistakes. Just the brain farts that absolutely hurt.
Yeah.
Because it kind of got back to that. And we saw that earlier in the season, and for the most part, they've been lots better. That last game, it was kind of like, they're just going to make those big mistakes again, and not necessarily hugely egregious, aside from Kane's in overtime. Like, that wasn't very good. But aside from that, it was just like, well, they're just little things, but those little things add up, and good teams capitalize. So, but overall, I mean, they were in that game. I didn't think it was a great game by any stretch for the Edmonton Oilers, but they were still there. They played with Vegas, and they were okay.
Gager, what about you, buddy?
Yeah, that basically sums it up. I didn't think it was their best game by any means, but not their worst. There was just subtle little mistakes that they made. Even to the point, it was the Jack Eichel scored the first goal, right? And that one, I thought.
That's right.
At first, I thought Skinner overplayed it, but then
that's what it kind of looked like right off the bat, right?
Well, he slid afterwards, right? But he was actually in pretty good position when the shot came. Would have liked to seen him maybe take a bit more of a step, and Eichel did a great, just little delay there. I thought Jack Eichel that's the best game I've ever seen him play. That was pretty impressive. So kind of neat to. I mean, I know he's not in Connor's league, but they were the 1-2 punch. There's still something to definitely talk about if that matchup occurs. But Brossoit better than Skinner. I think he won the goaltending duel that night. So, but like Cass said, just subtle little things. They're right there. It's it was overtime, for crying out loud, and it took a terrible mistake to lose it then too. So they're not even playing at their best, and they're still playing against one of the top teams that they're most likely going to have to go through at some point. And and they were still there to win the game. So
Evander Kane was -3 against the Sharks. Didn't have a great game against the Coyotes, and then had that breakdown in overtime. He'd been bumped out of the top 6 a little bit in the last week, and that's after that hat trick against Seattle. It's kind of been an off week here for Evander Kane. Can either of you explain to me what happened in overtime there? Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, when it happened, I was like, wait a second. I rewound it right away. I was like, oh my God, like, he might have been able to make a play on that, but he just sort of watched behind the net. It was very bizarre to me. I don't know what that was. Cash is shaking your head.
Well, because before it wasn't even the going behind the net. It was what he was doing before, where he just kind of abandons. I mean, you're man on man, 3-on-3 overtime, and he just abandons, and you're just like, wait, what? Like, what did he see?
Well, that's what Ekholm thought, right? Because Kane was kind of with this guy, so Ekholm took off, and then I just couldn't. God, that was
it was bizarre. It was bizarre. Like, I have no idea what he was thinking there. So it was bad. It was a bad play.
Kane looks like a guy to me that hasn't played all year. You know, like he gets some juice coming back, and I think it's the time where things are kind of catching up to him, that he hasn't been a regular for a long period of time. I think these next 9 games left remaining are most important for Evander Kane at this point, to get his game to a level where it was at the first round last year, where he was a dominant force. And I think I think that's why you see Woodcroft playing him like crazy with McDavid and try to get him going somehow, because it's just, I think it can get there, but it's going to take these next games. I'm sure he's going to play a ton.
And if it does get there, then it's massive, right? Then it's
perfect.
Massive for the
yeah, then it works out perfectly.
Yeah, no, that's good. Hey, on the goals against thing, I was talking, I think it was, Rashad on the mandate today was talking a little bit about how, like, defensive analytics say the Oilers are in that 12 to 15 range, but goals against wise, I think we laid it out last week on Two Guys and a Goalie or somewhere. I mean, all the teams that allow more goals than the Oilers, with the exception of maybe the Florida Panthers, are non-playoff teams, boys. So, Gager, I'll start with you on this. Is the Oilers' high goals against more on the team defense in front of the goalies, or more on the goalies? I know it's a combination of everything, but which side do you think needs to shore it up going into the playoffs?
I think it's a little bit of both, Dusty. It's in this case, it's not one or the other. In Jack Campbell's case, I would have liked to seen him be a little bit more solid and not allow that easy goal. Skinner's case, I know he'd like a couple of those goals back, but I found that his game is quite solid. Like, you're still having to, a lot of the goals that he's allowed are either the Oilers have been ahead at the end of the game and there's kind of that little lapse and there's a couple extra goals there when the game's already out of reach, or just a really good goal on Stuart Skinner. So yeah, there has to be a little bit more conscious effort in the defensive zone, where make it a little bit more difficult to generate good scoring chances, because with a goalie like Skinner that's so technically sound, if you can eliminate a lot of those high danger chances, that's going to be very, very difficult to start putting up points against the Oilers, because Skinner, I think, is really good with that area of his game. But I would say on both sides that it has to be both. It's not more on one side or the other.
Cass, can you, I mean, it's kind of a chicken and egg argument, really. I mean, if they were solid defensive, the goaltending numbers would be better, but.
Yeah, I would say both, but I'm going to say the defense, it starts with a defensive number. It starts with a D. The defensive play as a team, not just the defensemen, but the defensive play from the team as a whole. I would say that's the bigger problem. That to me is the chicken, and the chicken came first in this instance. I mean, just look at that goal. That we were just talking about with Evander Kane. I mean, that stuff has happened all the time. Look at the goal the other day with Evan Bouchard just kind of moseying on behind the net where he gets his pocket picked.
Yeah.
You can't would it be great to get a save in those instances? So yes, of course there's some onus on the goalies, but by the same token, you're just giving up these chances, and they're just kind of like bang bang big chances, and I think that starts it. And I don't know, I haven't seen the defensive analytics. Like I haven't looked at where they were prior to the Ekholm trade and post Ekholm trade.
Good point.
My gut feeling would be that they've been trending in the right direction for the most part, aside from the last week. So they were trending in the right direction. The last week, I don't think they've been very good from a playing defensively standpoint. But yeah, I'm going to say I think it's a team D that needs to improve before the goaltending. Goaltending does need to be better too. I mean, it is both. I just lean a little bit the defensive unit
on the
or defensive group.
On the topic of goaltending needs to be better, Jack Campbell was in the starter's net today, obviously with Skinner and Vegas looming here, I would think. Gager, what do you think, man? What do you expect? Is tonight one of those nights where tomorrow morning I'm on the radio going, hey, Jack Campbell wasn't bad last night. Maybe that's an encouraging sign, or are we not there just yet?
Yeah. Well, he's got to have a good game tonight. And it's I like because it's Arizona's really good at home too. It's not going to be an easy night for him. They're playing
they're
well.
Very good at home.
They're unreal. So, he definitely needs to have a good game just for the whole situation. Needs to feel good about himself. I think going into playoffs is one of the most important things. Not only that, just give his teammates the confidence that he's going in, right? He's playing well. We don't have to change our game style because of the guy that's playing in net. They want seamless transition as much as possible. So hopefully you can get in there and have a good one.
Cass, you expect anything different than what we've seen or what?
Hard to say. I hope so. But that last one, I mean, you had 3 goals that were called back in your game against San Jose. Like I was nervous every shot that went to the net. Every shot. Am I hopeful he turns it around? Of course. Do I want him to? Of course. Do I want him to be in a solid mental position and solid confidence position heading into the playoffs? Yeah, of course I do. You just still feel a little nervous about it. So, I mean, you knew he was going to play this one. You're going to give Skinner Vegas. So it's not surprising to me that he's going to get this start here. You need him to show you something again here and get back to how he played when he had that little run.
Tony Brower, Gager's Oilers Plus teammate, and he's in the F1 league with us. He tweeted today, this is the line rushes at morning skate today, boys. So McDavid with Kane and Matthias Janmark. Draisaitl between Hyman and Nuge. Bugstad with Yamamoto and Fogle. Shore, Ryan, and Costin. And then obviously the blue line stays the same. So Janmark stays up with McDavid. Kind of got a little bit of a sniff there last time. Bugstad now between Fogle and Yamamoto. Cass, what do you think of Janmark up there? I mean, kind of a sign to Yamamoto that play better, or somebody else is going to take your spot here?
Yep. I think so. And I think for Kyler Yamamoto, a big problem has been he's taken too many penalties, and some of those penalties have cost them. That I think has been a big part of it. And you're given different looks. Again, heading into playoffs here, and I've said this a few times with Tommy in that they've tried with different defensive pairings too. I think they're trying different combinations out to see what works and what doesn't work. So if you have to make a change, or you have players that are semi-familiar, semi-comfortable with one another, playing with one another, probably more applicable to the defense than the forward group, because the forward group has been at times in a little bit of a carousel where they've changed things up frequently and all the time. But yeah, I mean, it's not overly surprising. You have a guy in Janmark who's been playing pretty well, having some success, and Yamamoto, as I said, probably taking too many penalties, and they want to give him a different look. So I'm not overly shocked by it. And I wouldn't be shocked if it changes again tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah, I could see it changing by tonight. I mean, Gager could see the old Warren Fogle bump again. Hey, He's been bumped up a few times. He's been playing well. I think he's got 14 points. It's like his last 22 games or something.
I'd like to see Janmark up there. He's been that responsible player. Like I think he's earned the opportunity to go up there and play with those guys. He scored some big goals. That is one of the key reasons the PK has become decent over the past few months. I like his game. He's a responsible player that coaches love because they know that they can put them out there in almost any situation and not get hurt.
A few bobbles in that last game, but he's around it for sure. So that's something that they can continue to build on for Janmark up top there. Guys, where are the Coyotes in 10 years? What do you think the conversation is? Is it a stable franchise in Arizona? And who knows, maybe Austin Matthews is wrapping up his career there or something along those lines. But Cass, if you had to guess right now, where would you say the Coyotes, or what are the Coyotes in a decade?
Well, it's hard to know. It's hard to know. If I was guessing, I would bet that they are going to have a new rink in a couple years that's going to be attached to a casino, which is the primary driver of getting a new rink. Is they have a casino license. They're going to have a casino there. You're going to have a rink there. You're going to build a massive entertainment district in Tempe. So I think if I was going to predict out, and who knows how they are actually as a team in terms of where they place. But if I was going to pick in 10 years, I'm going to say I think they're probably actually financially stable at that point.
Okay.
That's what I think they'll be. I think they'll be financially stable. Who knows how they're run? Who knows how they're organized? But I think they get there with a new rink in Tempe. It still will take another couple of years. But who knows? I mean, that could be massively wrong. Maybe I'm just being a little hopeful on it. But I'll take a glass half full here and say once they get a rink built, and it looks like I think they have some votes coming up in May.
There's a vote in May about if they're going to move forward with this building that's privately funded, but they need to get the public approval, I guess, right?
They need to get public approval, privately funded. And again, they're going to make all their money back in casino money right away. They're not really worried about it, I don't think, from an ownership group. And that's why they're not worried about playing in a dinky little rink for a couple of years, because they're going to make all that money back from a casino. I think there's more stability in the organization. Now they just have to hire people that aren't solely focused on analytics that ruin everything.
Gager, anything to add on that?
Well, it's funny. I actually had Bill Armstrong was an assistant coach of mine for a bit. I played in Providence when I was trying to play on every American League team in the league. And so I said hi to him in the press box and stuff, and he admit, I go, yeah, you got a lot of picks, and he says they put a lot of focus on hiring the right people. So he has people that have been parts of Stanley Cup winning teams that hopefully moving forward with all these picks is they get the picks right. Like that's the most important thing for the Coyotes of what they've done this year to make a mockery of everything. And they actually look like the Major League movie right now where they're trying to fall and their team's actually playing well at home. So it's funny how that works. But it was interesting to hear him talk like that, and then looking forward to obviously he's going to look forward to anything besides this year. But what he was talking about and how they want to build their team, I think it'll be maybe even closer, Dusty. If what he says is true, it sounds really good for that organization. So we'll have to wait and see. But they have to get those picks right, man. That's like Cass said, they might as well just build a casino now.
Just start there, just playing it. Like at the River Cree. There's a rink in there. The casino doesn't seat many people. That's something you could do. All right, Gager. So we said on Thursday you were going to rank the starters in the West come playoff time. And let's go from 8 to 1. And sorry, we're eliminating Nashville and Calgary, or else UC Saros might find his way onto this list. But let's start at 8 and work our way up to number 1.
Yeah, so I went with Fleury in 8. And the reason why is he hasn't had tons of success in the playoffs since, even in Pittsburgh, he got yanked and Murray went in. I guess in Vegas, he got his team to the finals, just couldn't close the deal. Last few years we saw Talbot going in key situations too. So he's the reason I have at 8, just because I know he's had success in the past, but recently it's just not gone well for him.
Well, and Fleury has, just quickly on Fleury, he's played the majority of the games in Minnesota, but I think there's a chance that the other guy, Gustafsson, could eventually, you're going to give Fleury the start early in a playoff series, but
yeah,
he's being pushed there big time because the other guy's numbers are way better. Right? So we'll see what ends up playing out with Fleury. Cass, anything to add on that? Or just like Gager gets a 7? No, okay, go ahead, Gager. What's 7?
Gorgiev, just, I don't know, unproven, but this one was tough because I thought about how the Colorado Avalanche played last year, and it didn't matter who was in net, it seemed like. So, but I don't think he's a huge difference maker with the other ones. Grubauer is interesting just because I think if the playoffs started, he's the guy that they would go with at 6. Seen him play great, not against Edmonton. It's a dream if the Edmonton get matched up with him because they just
somehow
seem to
play the
light him
Kraken.
up. Yeah. 5, I went with Quick, just massive chip on his shoulder. I got to see them starting him first, and if he can rekindle any magic, and I mean, look at last year, like he was huge against the Oilers, and almost the only reason why the LA Kings defeated them in the first round. I went with Korpisalo at 4 with the Kings. Huge success against the Oilers, so that's kind of scary for Oilers fans.
He's been good since he's been in LA too. His numbers have been steady.
Yeah, LA's gone nuts, and you always thought, well, he had some good D-men in front of him, but not the whole team with a defensive structure. That could be something that's pretty special for them. I went with Skinner, number 3.
I was going to say he can't be any higher than 3, right? Like he's got to come in.
No, but he's young enough not to really. He knows where he's at, but not young enough to, or old enough to really know the gravity of everything. Just being a young rookie and like everything's just a whirlwind. I think he can have some of that Ken Dryden success, hopefully for Edmonton Oilers with his first playoffs. And then of course Hellebuck at 2. We saw what he did in the bubble. No other goal. Like he's one of the only goalies in the league that can possibly win a series by himself. If the Winnipeg Jets are going to do anything, he's got to be unbelievable. And then last not least, Jake Ottinger. He's phenomenal.
The real deal, right?
Yeah, he's. We saw what he did last year. Now he's got some run support, which is scary for Dallas. I don't think their D is great, but he makes up for so much of that stuff. They don't have to be perfect, but he's a scary goalie going into this playoffs. I think the most scary if I was in the first round matchups.
Jake Ottinger, 918 save percentage, right there with Connor Hellebuck, and actually Georgiev's got some pretty good numbers so far this year as well, but a little bit of a wild card because we've not seen it yet with that Colorado club. Cass, pick that list apart. Give me something. Give me something that you changed. Give me something that stands out to you. I think you're muted, Cass.
I was muted. I wouldn't have Quick at 5th. I probably would have Quick all the way at the bottom of that list.
Oh wow. Okay. Look at this.
In my opinion, yep. Listen, there's a reason that LA traded him. I've actually probably said it on here a couple times. Is I think he's overrated. I've not always thought that. I think the last couple years, Jonathan Quick has been overrated, in my opinion. He played in front of a team that played solid defense, that played very well in front of him, overachieved at times in front of him. I didn't think he was fantastic. So yeah, I probably, in terms of, in my view of this is like, if I'm ranking this just in terms of goalie quality, like not the team that's in front of them, but just power rankings from the goaltending position. Yeah, I probably have Quick at the bottom of that list. Probably would swap Korpisalo in Skinner. I'd have Skinner slot right there in the middle. And aside from that, I'd be pretty much on board with most of the rest of it, I think. So Gager, I think you did a pretty good job. I would basically take Quick and put him right to the bottom of the list.
I think I'd probably bump
Yeah,
Georgiev up a little bit. I didn't realize he had such sick numbers so far this year. But we'll have to see what happens come playoff time. But I think Korpisalo is an interesting one. I mean, if Korpisalo is good, boys, the Kings are a tough out.
Yeah.
So that'll be intriguing. But Ottinger, if your players in the West, Ottinger's got to concern you a little bit going into a playoff series for sure. And even though the Jets have been a hot mess, Hellebuck certainly has that ability as well. All right, so let's wrap up here, boys. 4 points up for grabs before we chat again on Thursday. How many of the Oilers come away with here? A quick 2-gamer here.
Oof.
3 out of 4.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah,
Coyotes win. No, a loss in overtime to the Coyotes and a
OT
win over
loss.
Vegas. Right.
Yes. That's what
Gager,
I'm
what do you
going
got?
I'm gonna go 4 points. I think after this little homestand, it wasn't perfect, but it got to overtime every game. I think we're gonna see a different Oilers team because they have to get better on the road too. So that's going to be a major focus because their home record improved over the last few months, but that early road record's kind of dwindled a little bit. So I think we're going to see a very focused road Oilers team in the desert.
All right, I'll be the bummer. I'll say 2. I'll say they get 2 points in these next 2 games. All right, that's going to do it for this episode, Cass. We'll be talking to you from the United States on Thursday, so let us know if there's any issues, if you'll still be able to join us or not. He's going to go on a little bit of a trip for spring break here. Gager, what do you guys got going on? Cass, you doing pre and post tonight? Or
Yeah,
you?
I'll do it
Okay.
tonight. Yep.
Okay, tonight. All right, and then Gager, you doing anything here with them on the road? Or
Nope. I got work to do.
No. All right. Well, then we'll let you get back at it. Boys, we'll talk to you on Thursday. See you later.
Later, boys.